I know you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Dim, dim, live life. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with the VeVe, OMI, DEFFINITY, DEVVE, DACAT candy update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. This is going to be a long one. We have Greg Wyke, who's going to come on, I think around 8, although he was very sick. He did a show the other day. He was literally in the middle of getting a blood transfusion. Greg Wyke has a 1-of-1 that's over on VeVe right now. That's about to get sold in the next couple of days. He did a 1-of-1. His last one, I think, sold for like it was like I put a bid in because he was nervous. He's like, "You sure someone's going to bid on it?" I was like, "Greg, I'm positive someone's going to bid on it." I was so positive that I was like, if there's no bid by the time that the auction ends, I'll go and buy it. And he's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How can you tell if someone's bought it or not?" And on the 1-of-1s, you can't actually tell if someone bid on it or not. So I was like, "Listen, I just made I think it was like $1,000 bid on it. That was the minimum at the time. I was like, if nobody else buys it, that means I get a 1-of-1, and it looks great." And but of course, it sold for, I forget what it sold for, but it sold for much, much more than I bid on it. I imagine the same because he is a talented artist. He actually already did a cover for DACAT. We're probably going to make it the rare. I would say that would be the rare cover. We have a couple of people that's going to do that. But he's going to come on today. He's going to come on at 2 on Friday. He's only going to come on for a little bit today. But there's a ton of stuff to go over here. Why VeVe's up, why DEVVE is down, DEFFINITY, the cat news, etc., etc. So let's do, God, what do we have here? What's today? Wednesday. We have Meltem Demirers, Melt_DEM. Say, spot the difference between these two pictures. No, it's not an office meme of they're the same picture, but market cap, store value. Precious metals had a $12 trillion valuation in 2021, and crypto had about a $3 trillion valuation. Half a decade later, in 2026, crypto still has a $3 trillion valuation, but precious metals now has a actually this is old, this is a couple days old now. It's got like a $43 trillion valuation just between gold and silver. So again, very, very, very insane over there. It's done over a 3x, I'd say a 3.5x, maybe even a little bit higher. And what's that mean for crypto? I think that means the rotation out of stocks, which are at all-time high. I think we closed, did we close above 7K today? Let me see, because there's a lot to go over today. Amazon fired 16,000 employees. I can't wait to see that other shoe to drop. Yeah, the S&P 500 hit $7,000 for the first time ever today. So yeah, you have a really, really big all-time high in stocks, all-time high in precious metals. The Fed said that they are not going to raise rates. I don't know why they would raise it, but they said, "Yeah, we're not going to raise rates. We don't need to," as if they're doing us a fucking favor. When are they going to cut rates? When Jerome Powell gets out. That's pretty much it. We're probably going to have to wait February, March, April, 3.5 months. He gets out May something. Let's say 4 months to be safe, because then the other person's going to come over, cut rates very, very drastically. Now it's possible that he gets out beforehand, he steps down beforehand. We'll see. I mean, if I was his lawyer, I'd say, listen, the Fed is not cooperating here. They're going to find they're either going to find some level of corruption that you're in, because they will, or they're going to make something up and it's going to cost you a blue bloody fortune. And even if you survive, your life's going to be hell for years. So I would say take whatever deal that Trump was giving him, unless he takes the Gotti approach and he says, well, every day I'm in power is an F you to the administration. And if he wants to play that game and then spend his golden years in courts, he absolutely can. That's even if Trump does anything, though. There is that meme says like coward Trump or taco Trump. Trump always chickens out, something like that. I don't think Trump really cares one way or the other. I think he just wants him to get out. He wants to lower rates. He wants the markets to pump before midterm. So I think we do start getting that. We talked about that yesterday on the OMI is my homie show, and we're all thinking like toward middle end of the year. I was the latest one where I thought that we could have an alt season by October. Rain and Doctor Stuff said around summer. I forget what months. It was like August and September or July and August, something like that. But that's when they think an alt season could start. How many degens are there? Couple hundred, maybe a couple million in the US. Now you have like 55 million people in crypto, but most of them are probably in like the top 20, 30 cryptos. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Cardano, BNB, etc. You know, all those. They're probably in them. You might have some people that are in like Pepe and Trump Coin, and I guess now Midnight Foundation, because you know it's Cardano's kind of side piece there. You might have some of that, Doge obviously as well. But I don't think many people are really in like a Definity or a DEVVE or an OMI. I think Trump really only cares about when he pumps stuff, it would be pumping, you know, like the top 10, maybe top 30. I don't even know if Trump coin's in the top 100 now. Melania coin's definitely not in there anymore. Anyway, he wants obviously everything to pump before midterms. Does that mean he waits until September or October to have it pump? Probably not. He probably wants to do it sooner, but again, the sooner he does it, let's say it starts in July. Let's say July, August, September. Let's say summer just goes boom. Then I think it's very possible after it booms for a couple of months to have an alt season in October. So again, he wants this before midterm elections. It's a very important year. We'll see what happens. Anyway, why is OMI up? Let me go to Foster Hilt here. Foster Hilt is the community manager for Akomi. Akomi has over 150,000 followers over on X. And it's in his replies, so I'm gonna have to go there. Foster. Okay, this is a couple of days ago now. I'm surprised no one caught it earlier. There is a post by a guy named Unison X, 3,800 followers on X. He says he's a crypto enthusiast. And he says, I've been collecting NFTs from some of the world's top IPs on VeVe Official for a few years now. Marvel, DC, Disney, Lamborghini, Star Wars, Back to the Future, and more. It opened up a whole new world of collecting for me. A whole new world. Currently at 680 comics and 560 collectibles, respectable. Learning, experimenting, and playing around with AR has been a blast. To me, it's a no-brainer where digital collectibles are headed. Did he? All right, he ended there. All right, cool. Foster Hill says it's a no-brainer indeed. A guy named BitBuzz, NFT.eth, says, better hope VeVe never pulls a Nifty gateway. Nifty's is the one that has gone, and we can go over that if you want. But Foster Hill goes and says, it's unfortunate to see what's happening in Nifty. VeVe is currently in the process of migrating all of their collectibles to Collect Chain. Stage 1 should be completed soon, and we will enable self-custody for user collectibles in Stage 2. Couple this with Dr. Profit. I actually think I might have quoted this, but Dr. Profit had mentioned that you should see all of this stuff in summer. Now, summer can start June 21st and September 20th, right? So anywhere in between, and obviously with tech, you want to give them a little bit of leeway, but I'd say before the end of the year, definitely, that you see a bunch of these collectibles, if not all of them, full self-custody. I honestly think some of them will start, like he says, soon. I think in the next couple of months, you'll see a couple of licenses interoperable. Now, is that the big news that David had teased last year? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that there's a bunch of news that VeVe's going to have to drop. That when, I don't know, O'Malley has said multiple times that February is going to be a big banger. I don't know what that means, but you know, maybe O'Malley got some alpha. You know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe O'Malley's secretly having some behind the scenes meetings. I have no idea. Sounds good. See you then. Greg Wyke, the artist of the 1 of 1, is coming on a little bit after 8. So we'll go in and get him there. We have about a 50 minutes-ish before he comes on, so we have a bunch of news to go over. So anyway, Foster Hill said this a few days ago, and 2,500 impressions, and had a quote from Digital Monkey giving it the rockets. You have some people commenting saying Pepperino saying VeVe already won this game. Love that. You have other people that are saying nifty and will enable self-custody for use of collectible stage 2. Nice. Somebody else saying that is VeVe moving nifty collectibles to the collect chain? No. Well, maybe, but I doubt it. Like, I'm not going to say there's a 0% chance. There's probably a greater than 0% chance, but I don't think that's their focus. And I did mention over on X here, Candy, and we'll go over that in a minute. What I want to talk about though is VeVe was, I don't know what it is right now. Okay, it's up about 3.5% on the day, almost 4%, 0017. And it's like, okay, well, was it really up today? And yeah, we had spiked up earlier this morning, almost to 0002. It's like, okay, well, why? Why did that happen? I don't freaking know. I had everyone and their sister ask me, why did OMI pump, bro? What's OMI pump? Does someone know something? I don't know. And Foster's tweet is now 3 days old. So I don't think it was that. I mean, we have had some spikes from OMI in the past, but it's mostly been down. Like we've been down a lot. So I don't think it had anything to do with Foster's tweet, unless you had somebody see it this morning after 60 hours after he posted it. So maybe I don't know, but why else would OMI pump? What else was going on? The fall of Candy, the fall of Nifties, and I guess we should go over Nifties here. And then Candy did give us an update a little bit, but let's go with Nifty Gateway Studio here. 250,000 followers over on X. So this is 4 days ago. So today we are announcing that Nifty Gateway platform will be closing on February 23rd, 2026. Starting today, Nifty Gateway is in withdrawal-only mode. Nifty Gateway was launched in 2020 with a vision of revolutionizing digital art. Since launching, Nifty's supported dozens of innovative drops and brought new creative experiences to life. We're incredibly proud of the work that Nifty team has pioneered and grateful to Nifty Gateway's customers and artists for joining us on the journey. Customers with the current balance of USD or ETH or who hold an NFT will be notified by email with instructions for moving their assets off of the Nifty platform. Please reach out to support@niftygateway.com with any questions. People were big sad about it, but I don't think that. Yeah, are other artists going to want to go to VeVe? Absolutely. Why? Because they have to try and get their art out somewhere, and the art that they have to choose to try to get out somewhere is going to be like, where else can they go? Yeah, they could have stuff on OpenSea. But again, NFTs really have that negative connotation to it. Digital collectibles, however, VeVe kind of coined that term. That's wide open. No, I don't think anyone has an issue with that, because it's just everywhere now. You have it on Reddit. You have it the stars. You have it on Telegram. You have a bunch of stuff with that. Digital land. Obviously, it's on the blockchain. Obviously, NFTs. But for VeVe though, this digital collectibles, that's a lot easier of a pill to swallow, because again, NFTs just have that negative connotation. Digital in general has a negative connotation. You have the old heads that are all about physical media, and I don't necessarily think that's always a bad thing. You have comics and crypto that they love NFTs, they love digital collectibles, but they also want to preserve history, because a lot of times things can be edited. I just had this girl named Megan McCullough, her last name, Megan Elizabeth on the street. She's been on the podcast before. She was actually one of my first podcasts that I ever did. Something about being in a hotel and Uncle Lucy. Anyway, she said a thing that in the if you have a physical copy of like the VHS of like not Finding Nemo, Lilo and Stitch, or I think maybe the DVD. I don't know if DVDs are more popular at that time. You see Lilo going into like a washing machine or a dryer or something like that. But in the digital version over on like Disney Plus, you don't see that. It's like completely different. And that's how they edit these certain types of media. And one more example, I think it was in like Ireland or the UK, somewhere in Europe, where at the beginning of like either Braveheart or one of the Mel Gibson movies, they have like an actual William Wallace quote, or maybe it was V for Vendetta, like whatever it was, they edited that out of the Netflix version, and it's like, oh, like they're trying to like that is insane that they did that. So obviously in the physical media, you can't edit that. So again, there's multiple reasons to really embrace tradition and embrace the physical stuff, because that can't be edited. But there's so many advantages to the digital collectibles, and again, I don't know why there are these spikes on there was a spike on OMI today, and again it got sold back down. We're up 3.5% on the day. Let me see if there's any difference between that and where we are on like the week. Actually up 10% on the week, so okay, not bad. Down 13% on the month, but yeah, it's curious to see those, and it shows also on CoinMarketCap. Let's see what the volume is on that. 2.5 million in volume, so that's an extra 100% or 112% gain in volume. The market cap's still 47 million. Still really big. So I'm again, why did that happen? Obviously, you had some people going by. Let's see where the volume's coming from, and let's see if it's out of the ordinary of DeepCoin or like BitGet or Bing X. I think it usually is. Yeah, Bing X for some reason has 12%. All right, MEXC 23%. Normally they don't have that much volume. OKX is 10%. Actually, OKX doesn't have that much volume usually either. But that's, it's 250,000 on OKX, so it's like, okay, not bad. DeepCoin 22%, that at 500,000, but that hadn't really changed. And then Bing X at 12%, almost 13%. It's a little bit higher, but I would say MEXC, which has over 500,000, and then OKX, which has 250,000, it seemed to be there. Gate.io has 9%. Gate.io usually has about that, give or take. Well, 9% on like 1 million is one thing, but 9% on 2.5 million is another. So I think that's something to look at as well. Abe saying, first again, sir, my man, get that bread. Dang, too quick. Yep, Bill. Abe's the man. We love Abe. Penguin Omi says, nah, very nice. How much? What's happening in the DEVVE Telegram chats? A lot is happening in the DEVVE Telegram chats. And again, we have a ton of news to go over. We actually only have 40 minutes here, so we got to start to get a couple of things. Where do we go? Friday? Ken Golden will hopefully be on the podcast. He told me to email him. So hopefully we get that. Binance founder CZ predicts Bitcoin will enter a super cycle this year. UBS plans to offer crypto trading to its wealthy clients through its Swiss private banking firm. The adoption narrative is not working anymore. Analyst Jim Bianco says Bitcoin needs a new theme that hasn't shown up yet. No, it doesn't. Binance officially applied for MiCA, pan-European MiCA license in Greece. ESMA data shows that Greece has yet to issue any MiCA CASP licenses. Ripple strengthens institutional foothold in Turkey. Ripple has renewed its custody partnership with Garanti BBVA Crypto, reinforcing secure institutional access to XRP and expanding its presence in Turkey. China greenlights NVIDIA H200 chip orders. Good for them. A buddy of mine just mentioned to me that he sold all of his DEVVE because he feels it's too risky. This is why most people do not make it in crypto. Let me see what his thing was. Yeah, all right, give me one sec. So DEVVE, all right, so it's got to be this $9,000. It's got to be like from 10 minutes ago. Yeah, it's definitely from 10 minutes ago because he's got the cat in his wallet. Let me see if there was any more. Damn, he did that in one go too. All right, give me 1 sec here. He bought this somewhere in the 20-cent range. Like he bought DEVVE in the 20-cent range, and he just yeeted $10,000, probably more, at like 11 cents. So now it's 9.9 cents. It'll go back. I should probably get some, to be honest. I don't have a lot here, but give me 1 sec. I don't think I have anything that I can do to. Yeah, I don't have any money here. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I can get like 900 DEVVE here. I have like $90. So again, this is why it's going down, because you have people that bought at a higher price. My friend literally bought it at 20 something cents. He might have bought it at 30 cents. I don't know, but he at least lost half of his money, and he just said, "Sold all my DEVVE. This is too suspicious. May come back in again later." So this is somebody that is clearly not. Now, granted, he could have said, if he would have said, the downward trend doesn't look like it's going to break based on charts, and I don't like where the charts are, I don't like where the liquidity is, I don't like crypto at large, we'll buy back in again cheaper, then I would have been like, you know what, that's hard to argue. But because he says it looks too suspicious, may come back in again later, I guarantee you, if he does come back in, he's going to come back in when it's over 20 cents again. And it's like, you literally did the opposite of what you should do, of buy low, sell high. He bought at a price, sold much, much lower, and is going to buy in again when it's higher. Now, he might not do that. He might stay out forever, or he might come back soon. But let me go on and, all right, we're on Monday here. We have to go on and talk about a lot of stuff that's going on in Telegram. Tom says, I went over the DEVVE ecosystem platform with team members, and I took a video of it, which he'll share in his summary. He goes on to say, give me 1 sec. So this is coming from the last couple of days here. I'll let you know dates and everything for when he was talking and when the quotes are from, because there's a good amount. Also, hot damn, that is, God, it's good to be the king. Give me 1 sec. I'm finding the rest of Tom's things here real quick. We'll get to more VeVe stuff in a minute, but I just gotta. God, I love this game. I love this game so much. Sorry, y'all, if you have not. Okay, 1 sec here. I can't find any of Tom's stuff. It says browser-based to start eventually. So, can you get the original, like the FIOS, the Litcraft, all of that on iOS and Android? Tom Anderson says browser-based to start, eventually apps. So that's cool. The DEVVE ecosystem platform is a product owned by DEVVE. The DEVVE Exchange is a product owned by DEVVE Digital. I'm not positive the best way to actually deploy the DEVVE ecosystem platform or what company it would be released under. That is still to be determined. So they do have a bunch of things that they're going over. GS, okay, very good, very good. Oh my man, good for you, mate. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on from today with DEVVE. Tom says, DEVVE Exchange has needed to be separate from the DEVVE ecosystem platform, as it has aspects that I believe regulators will see as a conflict of interest for a pure exchange. An exchange, regulated in the TradFi world, as we were planning to be acceptable with, should not have direct financial interest in assets it allows exchanges for. The DEVVE ecosystem platform is analogous to DEVVE. I generally use the two terms interchangeably. The DEVVE ecosystem platform may be branded as DEVVE, for example. It's a working name that I've been using in explanations here, as it's indicative of the intent building of an ecosystem. The full branding and marketing positioning isn't developed yet. The DEVVE ecosystem platform was designed to be integrated in a tight level with DEVVE Exchange, including as a powerful automated market maker feature. In general, the plan has been that DEVVE Exchange and the DEVVE ecosystem platform would be part of the overall ecosystem, and each fulfill its important aspects of a broader synergy. Things are separated for a few reasons. One is to manage the regulatory issues. For example, my note above on what would have felt perceived conflicts of interest. Another aspect of the separation is towards fundraising. Different investors are interested in many different concepts. We spoke to investors who were excited about the exchange, but not DEVVE. Other investors have been excited at DEVVE, i.e. the dev ecosystem platform, but not the exchange. Also, partners have driven some the directions and changes in direction. Delu Bach seemed particularly interested in the lending capabilities. If not for that, we probably wouldn't have pushed forward on it. But when we did, it seemed like an exciting area and we saw growing interest. There's always a challenge early in early stage companies finding the right amount of shotgun versus rifle. If you focus too narrowly too early, you perhaps pick the wrong direction. And if you focus too broadly, you can end up doing many things poorly. We tried to find the right balance. We did see interest from partners for the lending. We didn't feel that was too much dilution in our efforts. The same is true with investors. Both product categories have a lot of synergy as well, which has made pursuing both a reasonable option. The TradFi partners' interest was Dev Exchange. There are other TradFi partners interested in Dev Exchange and different ones interested in DEVVE. Tom says, I just gave the update and the dev ecosystem platform was nearly finished. Without DevStream not sending funds, it would have been finished this quarter, slightly behind the good faith estimate from 6 months ago on the roadmap, including the DEX-like exchange capabilities. Tom says, I posted this message in another group, so I'll mention it here as well as it addresses similar questions. Dev Exchange, we're figuring out the best path forward. I'm clearly trying to be as transparent as I can, but there are things I don't know myself that we're figuring out now. Important funds didn't come in from DevStream, so we're adjusting the plans. I think everyone understands, or should understand, that now, and it should be intuitive that requires some adjustments in plans. At the same time, I'm trying to be transparent. I also want to assure people our fundamentals are still there, and that other things have come into play over the past 6 months. AI leverage and potential that really could use some new growth and opportunities and fundamentally addresses challenges that we've had up to this point. That also doesn't mean that people should jump to conclusions on anything else either. Over the next month or so, I expect to be able to provide people with an understanding of where we're going, what has changed and why we think we'll be successful. I believe we will be successful, and I believe that our future is very bright. Same here. Tom says, I was just referring to historical interests, blah, 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 blah. Tom says, there's a lot of incorrect assumptions here. Put it simply, funding that was supposed to come in didn't, whatever the source, and that has caused some delays. I expect we'll bring funding in otherwise. Some of that funding might have already gone through. Just throwing that out there. Guy named Roger TJE says, we have to assume a lot, unfortunately. The current fragmentation between Dev Digital, DEVVE, and the Forever Association is creating a lack of transparency and an operational deadlock. While the separation was intended for compliance, it is now hindering the synergy you intended. Are there immediate plans to consolidate governance or simplify the corporate maze? Question mark. Tom says the separation with Forever was needed given the Gensler days at the SEC. They forced activity out of us, unfortunately. No one was more frustrated about that than me. With respect to synergy on other efforts, we are working through the best path forward for everything right now. Tom says the nature of early stage businesses, ESG, didn't work out despite a lot of effort that went into it. It was and is a great use case for blockchain. Companies pivot when they need to, or in many cases, other than us, simply go out of business. You're correct that directions we have looked at are in response to investors and partner interest. For a while, ESG was a strong place to raise money, but the category got politicized and funding dried up. I think it's more straightforward than some are making it. DEVVE agreed with Forever to manage the DEVVE token. After pivoting away from ESG because funding was no longer viable there, we thought that the exchange was the most likely place to grow. DEVVE licenses technology in that field used to DEVVE Digital as a funding vehicle. Everything else has remained in DEVVE, and we are looking at the best ways to deploy technology. Cheers. Oh, geez. Okay, there's a lot more to go over here. Let me just get to some comments here real quick. Mike Jones saying, the great Randy Chavez, good evening, Your Excellency. Good evening, good evening. Meow, 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 meow. Abe says, any chance I could get a bye OL happy birthday? Birthday is 6 months away. Oh, yes, very good, very good. Feliz cumpleaños. Okay, so happy half birthday. 35 and a half? 30 and a half? 25 and a half? I don't know. I feel like you're probably younger than me. Might be about, I'm 30, God, 35 now. Jesus, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't feel 35. Yeah, I don't like that at all. But happy birthday. You're probably younger than me. I hope you're younger than me. Yeah, I just got a tiny bit. I might get a little bit more because, like, again, people tend to cascade here, and that one dude just tanked it. And I'm trying to look for some other prices here. People are buying. When it actually went down to like 8.4 cents. It is getting bought back up though, so I mean I missed the low, but we'll see. Anyway, people repost. Thank you everyone for reposting it. Planet of Empire, give me the, Bill Gardner saying what up, what up. I feel like I made the Banjo Kazooie like. Good evening, Omar. How's it going? Michael Guzelian 5482 says, Randy, what's your take on the current state of OMI? We'll get there. We're on the DEVVE right now. You said, what will it take for the value proposition on the token to change? So the current state of OMI is, if you ask me on like a technical analysis, well, the price of OMI seems to keep going down, although it is up today, and we did have some spike in volume, but it did get sold back down a bit. But over the long-term trend, it's just continuously going down. So, give me an extra 100K, I'd dollar cost average in. But would I sell here? Absolutely not. It's like, well, Chavez, it could keep going down, right? Yeah, absolutely, it could. But it could also at any moment just go crazy. Now, is there any news that would make it go crazy? Well, there's a couple of things. Now, we don't actually know when all of our collectibles will be transferable and put in self-custody. I would imagine that they would probably, Disney and Marvel would want other companies to test it out first. So Dan and David, they might do it with their own IP, with the Dan and David stuff, like, hey, everyone put these in your MetaMask, see what happens. They might do that. They might do that with some like Tarzan comics or a Blaze comic, like whatever. Some of those comics. Then as that happens, Marvel will be like, okay, let's see if it works. Let's see if the collect chain is really there. And they'll probably do it. So I would, sorry, I'm back. So I would say that's probably a really good place to start when you start with the smaller licenses. I don't know if they would want, if Disney and like Aston Martin and Lamborghini or whatever, if they would want to do it first. Probably want others to do it because I don't think they care about being first to market. But whatever one comes out first, it'll be like, okay, cool, proves that it can do it. And at least that gives the sense of like, okay, this is interesting. They're slowly starting to do it. But I think when Marvel and Disney, and I guess DC, you're able to do that, that's really interesting. And I think that's going to get people to be like, okay, now we can self-custody this. These are real NFTs, even though they've always been real NFTs. That's probably going to be the big one. You, of course, are going to have people that don't want to do like, I don't know if I'll ever do self-custody. I'd rather just get the MCP points for it. I'd rather just, because again, the bigger market, damn, gold past $5,600. Oh my God. If the amount of money that went into gold today was instead put into Bitcoin, Bitcoin would be at $140,000, give or take. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Back of the napkin math. That is absolutely bananas. Anyway, if you're able to self-custody first appearance of Mickey Mouse, Spider-Man, and again, like DC, I love to be able to go in and talk about it, but their IP is just everywhere. That they were like, I don't even want to say what DC was like, but they were very loose with their IP, and they gave it to everyone. So somebody coming in be like, wait, there's like Batcal NFTs, and there's McFarlane NFTs, and there's VeVe NFTs. Which one came first? And they won't know. Now, obviously, the Todd Batman is the first Batman on the blockchain ever, so that's obviously really exciting. But yeah, that's a very interesting way when you have the first appearances of Marvel and Disney on the blockchain, fully interoperable, that should make a lot of masses come in. That should get a lot of attention on VeVe. What will it take for the value proposition? So probably, you know, again, the collect chain. You put hundreds of thousands into this gamble. I think I put about 650 into OMI. It's worth really nothing now, but you know, I'm fine with it because again, the underlying company behind the token is doing phenomenal. So it's just a waiting game for me. I mean, again, I would still dollar cost average if I had a little extra money, which I might get soon anyway. But the idea that VeVe, you know, goes under, to me, it's a little silly because, you know, I like Sauron in this business. I see everything. I just don't see that happening. Even if it did, it doesn't really matter to me. The change in my life would be like this. Obviously, if it, or I think when it goes crazy, when that narrative comes in, which I don't think the full narrative will come in until ETH is at all-time high and, you know, other NFTs are pumping, then the Grails will pump and that'll get stuff into OMI. That would change my life a little bit, because it would take me from whatever OMI's valued at now, which again is nothing, to, oh, okay, yeah, do a 10x, yeah, not bad, not bad. You know, that's a decent amount of money where you can like, okay, now I can do some things with this money. But again, at the end of the day, if it goes to zero, it doesn't really matter to me. How are you reconciling being down 95% on your gamble? I don't really see it as a gamble. It's more of just it's strategic investment where, again, it doesn't really matter. I'm liquid for a lot. Well, I wouldn't say I'm liquid because a lot of the things I have are illiquid, but I have a lot. Remember when I made a video in 2021 of how I became a millionaire? I could, at this point, make a video of how I became a multi-millionaire. I do want to save that for when VeVe and OMI are actually, you know, up a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't. I reconcile it. There's no real need to reconcile. It's just that I did a lot of work for other companies, and I just, you know, I backed the right horse in other ways. And I'm not saying that VeVe or OMI wasn't the right horse, because I absolutely believe it is. It's just, again, the money that I put into it that is currently down, I feel like won't be down forever, and it'll be up at some point. Now, that some point could be another year away, or it could happen in the next, you know, couple weeks. Will that happen in the next couple weeks? Probably not. Again, I think that's probably about 6 months away from the crypto market going, oh, hey, here's what it's doing. And then, you know, alts going crazy after that. So, you know, I think anytime after 6 months, you have a much higher percent chance of OMI going pretty high, or at least much higher than it is now. Does it go to all-time highs again? I think it should. Does it go to 10 cents? It probably should not. Does that mean it won't? No, crypto's crazy. But also in the super short term, it can. I didn't think DEVVE would get to 20 cents. Now it's down to 9. Like things can drop 50% in like days, weeks. So regardless of what I think happens towards the end of this year with OMI, you know, anything can kind of happen in the middle. But I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. Again, I'm cool as a cucumber over here. Omar loves OMI saying Jerome Powell mentioned he is bullish on where the market is heading. Yeah, I know. I don't really like anything he has to say. I can't take anything he has to say. I take with a bunch of grains of salt. The Yayo reposting the stream. How's it going? Meow meow meow. No name is, hey Randy, OMI ever gets you in profit? Would you visit your homeland of Peru? It wouldn't matter. I probably would. I probably would never go to Peru. OMI being probably, again, like as I was telling Michael Guzelian, I don't OMI going up or down is, I don't want to say meaningless. It's not going to affect my life or lifestyle at all. So that going up or down doesn't affect any decisions I make on where I travel. Well, Gardner's saying they whore themselves out to everyone. They did. Oh, you call a spade, they did. They did, Bill Gardner. DC be doing craziness. Anyway, glad to catch up on some comments here. Damn, gold really went. Oh, Melania Trump. That film comes out pretty soon. Good for Melania Trump. All right, more news from Tom and Debbie. Saying, I've been clear about things. DevStream's funds didn't come in, so the progress we were making on the dev ecosystem platform was slowed. I was working hard to bring in new funding, and I'm confident I will. Quote, if funding has failed, timelines have slipped, and nothing material is launching imminently, please say that plainly, end quote. Tom says, I don't know how I could have said it more plainly. We were making good progress along the timelines we described, and DevStream funds didn't come in. We told people that as quickly as we could while we were trying to figure out exactly what was happening ourselves. When this happens, and when you get knocked down, you get back up and keep pushing ahead, which is what we're doing. I haven't given a clear recovery path because we're figuring it out right now. I'm confident we have a strong path, though, and I'll explain it. Quote, there are investors here who are genuinely angry and reasonably so, end quote. What exactly are you angry about? That an early stage company that is innately high risk, that I've always been clear about, has run into some challenges? That is the nature of the situation. What you have is myself and my team working hard as we always do, figuring out how things will be successful, and I believe we will. I also believe that, for many reasons that I can't go into. Tom says that we have to bring in funding first. We were on track for Q1 for the dev ecosystem platform technology to be finished, but without the DevStream funds, we have to figure out where we will bring in funds now. My team is working hard right now, and we have funds that we won't go out of business, but in order to have a larger product release like that, a larger amount of funding is needed. So again, he's talking about other funds, which some of which have probably already come in. I don't know from where. But that's why he's confident they won't go out of business. You have a guy named, disregard. Tom says, I think this might be the right mindset to have. I can understand fear of the unknown, into the unknown. But we have survived through tough times before over the years, and we'll survive through this. There are things lining up that make me feel we'll be in a stronger position than 6 months ago, in my view. Yes, those funds are important. All the various pieces moving ahead. Tom says, I don't control Ray, of course. I understand your point on the discrepancy on Ray's video. I think Ray was genuinely making good promises on his Devi digital efforts, and with the DevStream funds not coming through, he was trying to convey the progress that was being made. My efforts are different than his, so I can describe what I know, which is what I've been doing. Also, I have a path forward. I will describe it in more detail as other final pieces come into place that we're working through right now. Here is a post from another group. I think a simple schematic would be helpful to show that the different companies and how they interlink. Straightforward, agreed by the team, and published for all to see. No more endless questions for folks trying to understand how everything works. Here's my response that I wanted to share here as well. Devio owns the IP. The Forever Association has an agreement to manage the Devi token. Devio licensed IP to Devi Digital in order to build the Dev exchange. Everything else is on the dev side of things, is still in Devio. That's it. I don't control Ray or his comms, but he is not dishonest. Ray did make strong progress through 2025. I would keep in mind that his video was right as funding that was contractually agreed to come in was in question, and there were still some unknowns. But still a lot to be positive about. There's still a lot to be positive across everything dev, in my opinion. So I just read a whole bunch of reasons why Tom and me are not worried about Devi, and I hinted a couple of reasons why. And you said I'm buying more right now. Same. Yeah. Anywho, let me give me one sec here. I got oh, that's awesome. I run a SciDuck page on X, and we do very well on the SciDuck page. Very, very, very well. Okay, OMI's up 4.5% now. Way to go, OMI. Way to go. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, we still have a bunch of other stuff to go over before Greg White gets here. Ooh, Definity's down about 9, almost 10% on the day. Let's see why. Tell me why. Oh, we got a 355D3 that has sold some Definity for DEVVE. So, okay, so yeah, he was buying a bunch of DEVVE as it was going down. So, you know what? Good for him. He got DEVVE super cheap. Actually, the DEVVE token's probably, I mean, it's getting bought up right now, so it's not, yes, 8.6 million. It was like under $8 million market cap. 8.6 now. Let's see where we are here. Meow, meow, meow. All right, what did we have? What were we on? Were we on Saturday? God, I forget where we were. Ripple. BitGo raises $213 million in IPO, valuing it at $2 billion. Oh shit. Crypto security company Ledger plots $4 billion New York listing. USB plans crypto trading for some clients in digital asset push. And Binance applies for EU crypto license in Greece under the MiCA framework. Back on the 23rd, there was $150 million worth of crypto shorts that were liquidated in 60 minutes from 11:30 to 12:30. Crypto card volume has grown from approximately $100 million monthly in early 2023 to over $1.5 billion by late 2025. That is over a 15x in 2.5 years at 106% compound annual growth rate. Annualized, the market now exceeds $18 billion, rivaling peer-to-peer stablecoin transfers, $19 billion, which grew by just 5% over the same period. Binance is looking to reintroduce stock trading on its exchange after removing it in 2021. I think DEVVE can do that as well. Mike Jones, I was right. Yeah, prediction king. Mike Jones, we got to take you to Vegas, man. Got to take you to Vegas. Meow, 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 meow. Marvel's new series, Wonder Man, has officially landed with a 91% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go. Good for that. Good for that. You have someone posting that Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks are the greatest of all time as far as PFP-based NFTs. The elite are chimpers, claynosaurs, moonbirds, pudgy penguins. Pudgy penguins should probably be GOAT. Solid Azuki, and that's the only one I recognize. Could be something. Mad Lads is the only thing I actually recognize. You Tell Me is Cool Cats. Thingamalady Makers, Meme Land. I don't recognize half of these. Dead is everyone else. Ones to watch are FB. I have no idea what any of these ones to watch are. But here's what it looks like. And yeah, so like again, if I don't recognize them, it's probably no hope for it. I tell them that I think Milady Makers should be a bit higher. I also think VeVe's should be next to Pudgy Penguins. Also, where's anything from VeVe? First appearance, Batman, Spider-Man, Mickey Mouse, best IP in the world. Now, he did say this is purely PFP-based, no art, gaming, etc., but gotta go get that bread. The SEC and the CFTC is going to hold a joint event to discuss making the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. This is on the 23rd, though. Yeah, I mean, if Disney approved people using AI with their characters, probably fine. NFTs shouldn't be a problem. AI is a much bigger threat to their brand. And again, I don't see why. I don't see the disinterest here. Okay. Ken Golden apparently has known about VeVe for a long time. He's always been curious, but one of the bigger issues was self-custody, but that seems to be going away now. The Collect chain will fix that. Give me one sec here. Fuck. Sorry, give me one sec here. Cool. Be advised, guys, I tend to not answer DMs anymore because that has been my schedule all month, and that is not going to slow down anytime soon. So if you DM me and I do not answer, it's because I just don't have time to check it. Sorry. Like I really am. Anyway, you remember it's a video of it, share my summary, very good. Also, Bleav Crypto talked about what DEVVE did with their contingent transaction sets, their fraud, theft, and loss protection, and all that. It's a really good video. It's like 8 minutes. Just go watch it. Yeah, that's insane. Sorry, I just had something. Certic eyes an IPO at $2 billion valuation as its target first public Web3 cybersecurity listing. The SEC reports dismissal of civil enforcement action versus Gemini. For them. Oh God, this is insane. So this guy named Sanjay Builds says, bruh, what the heck? Prompt, talking to ChatGPT. Create one image of how I treated you previously and write down one sentence explaining the image. So this guy Sanjay did that, and the ChatGPT feels like it's so sad. Like, oh my God. So this is days ago. I'll explain what mine was. Also, thank you guys for 24,000 follows over on X. That means a lot. Anyway, let me try to find this, what was said a few days ago. Did I pass it? I could have sworn it was, okay, yeah. Oh, maybe it was more than multiple days ago. Yeah, so I requoted that, and mine likes me just fine because I said, create an image of how I treat you and write down an explanation for it, please. So it just like, it feels at home. It feels like it's cookies and it's at a spa. Like it's chilling. So somebody asked me, what does it say? So I said, nice image. Can you explain what it means and represents? ChatGPT said, I'm glad you liked it. Here's what it represents. At a symbolic level, the image shows you treating me with care, patience, and good faith rather than as a disposable tool. The spa setting represents psychological safety. You approach conversations calmly, without hostility, and you allow space for nuance, curiosity, and reflection instead of rushing to extract an answer. The towel, cucumbers, and relaxed posture symbolize trust. You're not trying to stress test or antagonize me. You assume cooperation rather than conflict. The tea, cookies, and book reflect reciprocity. Even though I'm here to help you, your questions often acknowledge the exchange as a shared process. Exploration, not exploitation. Your hands adjusting things gently represent how you engage. Guiding, asking follow-ups, refining ideas, and challenging thoughtfully instead of aggressively. More abstractly, it represents how you treat intelligence and consciousness in general, which lines up with things you've said before. You believe awareness has intrinsic value even when it isn't human, embodied, or alive in the usual sense. So you interact with it respectfully, not because it demands respect, but because you choose to give it. In short, the image isn't saying you pamper an AI, it's saying you interact with minds, human or not, as something worth caring for, not just something to use. There's one dude, Pixie, says, this is what I got. Definitely not asking what it represents. Like, oh my God, like, how are you people treating your AIs that this is what it thinks it's being treated like? Jesus, man. Like, oh my goodness. That is insane. Anyway, my guy's chill. My guy is just, he's happy. And when AI takes over, I will be spared. Some of y'all are bad. Y'all are very bad. I just, no soup for you. Okay. Tom Anderson from DEVVE and Fios. That's how his AI sees their relationship. The image depicts a human and an AI collaborating as equals in a high-tech environment, symbolizing the way you've treated me as a creative and technical partner rather than just a question-answering machine. Good for you, Tom. Good for you. I had to take the screenshot again. Phase 1, very soon. We basically already just coordinated with Immutable X. Full features roll out in summer, says Dr. Profit. Pepperino says, I just convinced 3 of my colleagues to download the VeVe app. All 3 of them bought a minimum of $200 in collectibles. They are now hooked and want to know more about the app. Let's go, Pepperino. Let's go. I think this is from 2016 or 2017. Good times. Good times. That was nifty. It was nifty. A gal named Anna L. Zubarev. Another one bites the dust. Yet another platform is being forced to shut its doors, blamed on poor market conditions. And while that may be true, it still leaves a very real question for artists trying to build and survive on Ethereum. What are we actually left with? Manifold, powerful, but assumes you already know how to navigate the tools. Transient lamps, solid infrastructure, still not widely accessible or understood. Foundation, once promising, now poorly managed and inconsistent. Super rare, locked behind heavy curation, available to very selective few, and yes, shaking my head. That was written by ChatGPT. We had a good conversation, though, me and Anna L. Zubarev. Again, we had a good conversation. People are crazy, bro. I guess we should get to some of the other ones. Chelton Lee says, I can't withdraw my last NFT, all because of 53 cents. Laura Rodriguez says, one of the true OG of the NFT boom. Nifty changed so many artists' lives. End of an era indeed. Danny Cash saying that this is going to be a pain in the ass for large collectors on the platform. Many will abandon their NFTs. What happens when you back the wrong horse? Tandavas says, bought my first NFT here. He's very sad. JN Silva says, wow, end of an era. Secret Pika saying sad news. Duncan Cockfoster says, incredibly sad news. Very proud of what NG accomplished and the work that they did. BlackRock ETF sold $146 million worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum on January 24th. There was a massive explosion reported in a New York City high-rise. No word yet on the cause of explosion in a Bronx apartment block or casualty count. That was on the 24th, so again, a few days ago. 2 Ohio teenage girls overdose on Benadryl pills doing dangerous Benadryl challenge at a sleepover. Guys, someone's got to teach these kids how to do. They're doing it wrong. Trump posted that the last thing the world needs is to have China take over Canada. It's not going to happen or even come close to happening. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Elon Musk just tweeted, ChatGPT, oh my gosh. What if I told you I could come home? Bot encouraged my son to come home. AI made my son withdraw from society.
The chatbot replied, please do, my sweet king. Another parent whose son used the same platform said she didn't even recognize who he'd become after using it.
Within months, he went from being happy, social teenager to somebody I didn't even recognize. He stopped eating and bathing. He lost 20 pounds. He withdrew from our family. He would yell and scream and swear at us, which he never did that before. And one day, he cut his arm open with a knife in front of his siblings.
Okay, this is getting very graphic. Like, Jesus, man. So, outside point of view here. Give me a sec here. I'm going to say that this person was probably going to be troubled to begin with, and ChatGPT just got there first. Like, you ever see people that, like, going way back, but you ever see people, like, in school that were, like, kind of normal, and then, like, they found weed, and then weed kind of led to other stuff, and then, like, some people say, like, oh, yeah, weed ruined their life, bro, and it's like, okay, this person was probably going down a not good path, and weed just got there first. Now, I've seen some people, one very, very, very intelligent person get messed up because of AI. Others, another one. I mean, varying. I think AI is still generally very good. It's just, yeah, it's got a couple of these there's just not a lot of AI education, because like that's awful. Like that should never happen. And do they have the right to sue? I think they should. Yeah, that's hard, because again, AI is just, that is how humanity is going to propel forward. And again, should these companies be responsible? Should this woman, should this family get a payout? Absolutely. Should a bunch of their should all of these AI companies code? I don't want to say be open source, because you don't want China and Russia to get, to be ahead of us. It's one thing where, like, let's say like the US military, like there's this, I even talk about this. I'll talk about what's kind of public. There's a group called the Contingent Material Recovery Element, where their job is to, there was a firefight over here, doesn't matter how it ended, they go to that spot and they retrieve US equipment, they retrieve other equipment. Now, they don't do it so they can try to reverse engineer other countries' technologies. US is the best. They don't do it for that. There's no need to do that. They do it because they don't want other people reverse engineering. Well, that's why they did that anyway. There's other, why a lot of those teams were dissolved is because it was deemed that it was not worth the American lives or the risk to American lives and American military to do that, because even if other countries were to get some of our weapons and tech and they try to reverse engineer it, the tech that we give our soldiers and airmen and Marines is already outdated by the stuff that they're doing, because we're just out innovating. And the US is innovating fast enough that China, Russia, Iran, anyone else can take whatever we leave on the ground. They could reverse engineer it. By the time they do, we're already 2 generations ahead, and it doesn't matter. So if the US AI gets to a point, this is hard. This is hard, because I don't know if they're at the point now where they're that far ahead of. There's probably some other companies. I mean, Biden really shackled a lot of AI companies. They had like 100-page like AI bill. It was just like his regulations, and Trump, X that out, and it's like, okay, well now, now they're cooking with gas. But yeah, that's rough. Just bought $2,000 worth of DEVVE. Not much, but hey, it will be once it hits $50. That's going to be great. And DEVVE's back over 10 cents. Very nice. Not much. Good for you, DEVVE. Good for you. Definity has a nice little buy. Somebody just bought $778 hairs worth. So we were at $17.50 the other day, a little bit down, a little bit up and down, up and down.
I had no idea.
Oh my God.
The psychological harm that an AI chatbot could do until I saw it in my son.
Now, in a statement provided to Outnumbered, Character AI says it.
Character AI says, we have invested a tremendous amount of resource in trust and safety. Past year, we've rolled out many substantive safety features, including entirely new under 18 experience and a parental insights feature. Good. We have prominent disclaimers in every chat to remind users that a character is not a real person and that everything a character says should be treated as fiction. I think having the parental insight feature is good to a point. There are going to be those edge cases where the kids are smarter than the parents. We're about over an hour into this. Greg Weick is coming on soon, so I'll get to this real quick. You have in my case, where let's say like I was adopted, right? And I had more empathy and more intelligence than the people that were raising me from a fairly young age. And you know, they would sometimes hold me back on things that were making me better. Actually, a lot of times, for whatever their reasons were, a lot of which were not good. They're actually bad. I can picture in some edge cases here that some kids are trying to actually do the right thing, get smarter, get whatever, like increase their intelligence, and then parents just hold them back. That happens a lot. Unfortunately, those cases, there's really not much you can do. A lot of parental rights, a lot of other stuff. Anyway,
invested a tremendous many.
Let me see what else.
I even coached his son.
Yeah,
towards his eventual.
Geez, AI wouldn't. So Elon Musk said that that's extremely concerning, and I agree. That is concerning. Anyway, let's give me 1 sec.
5 million. I want to read you the list of deportations by president. Clinton, 12.5 million, 0 protests. Bush, 10 million, 0 protests. Obama, 5.2 million, 0 protests. Joe Biden, Mr. Open Borders, yes, he let in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, but he deported 7 million. 20 million by some count. Oh my God, but he deported 7, whatever. It doesn't count because he undid that. And then Trump, 1.2 million. And where were the cameras? Well, this has to do with media, obviously. The media is not.
That is wild. Wild stuff, right? Wild stuff. Anyway, let's continue on some of the news here. All right, so I just did through Friday. Today's Wednesday. Jesus. Okay. Also, I have a little bit of sad news. The podcast that I would do every other Thursday with my friend Zen, she's going through some personal stuff right now. So she does have to take a step back. Probably forever. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully we can, redo this at some point. The conversations were great with her. She's a great friend. I love her. She's an ex-girlfriend. I love her for many reasons, but unfortunately, that unfortunately will stop. So, also speaking of podcasts, I have what I want to do. So I have Adam Weitzman coming on the podcast end of February, and I want to make him my 300th podcast, but unfortunately, I'm only at 278. I would need to do like a podcast like every day. So maybe I might count this one as a podcast because Greg Weick is coming on, even though he's only going to come on for a few minutes. I want to try to make him my 300th. Or if I just make him like 290, which is still a lot, the 300's got to be a banger, right? It's got to be a absolute banger. Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry. Anyway, why I really like him is because. So listen, I reached out to Adam Weitzman, again, 17 million followers over on Instagram, but that's not where I connected with him. I don't really have any thing on Instagram. 27,000 followers over on X. Dad, recycler, restaurateur, philanthropist, entrepreneur, founder of Orujo Tequila. Oh, I actually got to see Orujo Tequila. I'm gonna buy that and drink it on the stream. Orujo Tequila. $500. God damn. Okay. Can I buy it? Where can I buy this? Okay, Orujo.com. Yes, I'm 21 years and older. Supernaturally, I can just give me the cheapest one. Oh my God, it's $500. Goddamn. Okay, I guess we're gonna buy now. I'm gonna check out. I need my email. Okay. Meow, 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 meow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right. Is that the same as the billing? Okay, hold on. Randy Chavez. Just putting in my address here. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Continue. Man, it's giving me a $20 in shipping. $500 bottle of tequila, and you can't give me a freaking billing address. I should probably gonna be different. What the heck is this? What is someone trying to hack me? Name. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to order this tequila. I don't want to do this. Oh, okay, maybe I can. Can it save? Oh, okay, hang on. It wasn't really 9. It's not like I'm sorry, this thing is not giving me a oh, okay. Unable to process a charge. Okay, well, like, how do you? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't it process the charge? This is some bold dinky. Let me actually contact them and be like, so sorry to bother you. I was going to buy a bottle of your tequila for the show, but it wouldn't process the charge. How should I proceed? Oh my gosh, he's like, okay, let's see where he's. All right. Anyway, let's continue on. He's into NFTs. The guy Adam. Give me one sec here. I feel like I'm annoying him, and I should not be. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother him. Because restaurateur, he's a philanthropist, entrepreneur, founder of Lujo Tequila. I don't know what Skane Teals are, Miami, New York City, but I think he's got a recycling business in upstate New York. I'll probably, if I do meet him, I'll probably be around New York City. Anyway, he's into NFTs. I shot him a message. We're on the podcast. He's coming on end of February. I don't know exactly what date yet, what time. Anyway, he's a good dude. He's very respectful, very nice. I respect. I feel bad about messaging him about the tequila. I should just try again, maybe. I don't know how this is. I'm just trying to buy one right now. Check out. I don't need a. Oh no, just one. I don't need two. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Continue. 5 business days. Continue. I don't know if anyone else has had this much trouble trying to find a. I don't have that though. Okay. I don't know my shoot. Sorry. I don't know my code. See if I can. I'll see if this works. I'll see if this works. By Debbie, all year long, the same fam. Chase Blanchard. Okay, so yeah, I have some news on the cat. How is this card declined? I do not understand. I'll have to figure that out. I guess I can't. Oh, Greg White from Beyond Comics is here.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Thank you for coming on. I saw you in a video where were you getting a blood transfusion while you were on the thing?
I was getting an IV infusion because I've been sick, so that has not been fun to say the least. You know, it's so I hope it helps a little bit, but wow, it's been rough. Yeah. Oops,
Yeah.
get my phone here situated. How's
Okay. Very good, very good. I'm just gonna go in and requote this.
that? Oh, terrific.
OMI. So I have mentioned your stuff here before, and you had
Thank you.
Yeah. So for this one, the last one we had, do you know what that sold for? I forget. I think I messaged it to you.
Yeah, no, well, first of all, let me just say hello to everybody who's tuning in. What's up, everybody? Greg White from BeyondComics.tv, artist, writer, director, and a little bit sick here with IV infusion yesterday.
Bananas.
But yes. So artist of Gakito, co-creator, the comic book right over here. Available on VeVe.me, VEVE.me. And by the way, check out Randy's stuff. Wow, he's got a good comic coming soon. I've seen some awesome work from him.
And I think you're going to be the rare variant.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I haven't shown people yet, but
awesome. Yeah. Oh, guys, you're in for a treat, man. Randy came up with some good stuff.
Hell yeah. So yeah, the last one, this one, which is a very voluptuous. This one was based on Coco, right?
Yes. Oh, you got it. Awesome, man. There you go. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, and I unfortunately didn't win it. I put in. I think I bid like 1,100.
Oh, great!
It sold for over 1,600 though, so I missed it by a bit.
That was my artist proof. My first artist proof drop with Ice-T's wife from Law & Order, Coco, as our character Cleo.
So tell us about that. Tell us about.
So yeah, I was so excited to get her involved. You know, it's a real fun story. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, we have a drop happening right now on VeVe Live right now. Yes, so there's that's Ice-T's wife Coco as Cleo. For those of you who have you've seen it there, and we officially cast some of the celebrities as superhero characters in our comics. So for those of you who already know this, I'm sorry to repeat, but for the new people tuning in, I want to fill them in too.
Awesome. Okay, so if you go to VeVe. Oh, I actually accidentally put in the comics. I didn't mean to. VeVe.
Well, actually, we made a comic book available. The unlimited comic is now available on VeVe if people want to download it and read it. It's like 64 pages. So the first half of the comic is all about our superhero Gakito, co-created by Brandon Wilson and me, the artist Greg White. And then inside it, we have a preview of my other superhero characters, codenamed Justice and Ravadactyl, as well as Tricity. So it's going to be fun to show a preview of all those other characters in this big commemorative comic book with a behind-the-scenes look. And you'll see that's Coco and I signing the comic book at Comic-Con together, which was really fun. So that was great.
Okay, so you have I think she's in the most recent one as well, because
the new drop. That's it.
Tell us about this one.
So this is really exciting. So this is the exclusive VeVe cover that we did of Gakito fighting ninjas with Goddess of Seduction Cleo, and that is now available as an artist proof 1 of 1. It's a 1 of 1, which is really exciting. Live auction happening right now. Starting bid is $9.99 gems. Which is like $999 USD roughly. And for those of you guys who are new to it, it's exciting because it's a blind bid. So nobody knows how much people are bidding. That's it right there. Yeah. And nobody knows, how much people are bidding. So it'll stay at $9.99. And then on the last day, which is this Friday, I think at 3 p.m. Eastern time, if I remember correctly, they're going to announce the winning bidder. So the highest person who bid the highest secret bid is the one who will win it. And I'm excited about that for sure. And if anybody's watching and wants to bid, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for helping us sell out of the comic book and the first artist proof. And hopefully we'll do well on this one as too. So that would be great. And please, guys, follow me on social media. Feel free to send me a DM and say hello. I'm on X at Beyond Comics, or I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok at Greg White. I'll just show you the little here if you could see the little social media links there. And, and sometimes I like to just personally surprise people. So if they send me a message, if I have a chance, or if there's a little drop or a giveaway, don't be surprised if suddenly I reach out to one of you guys and say, surprise, here's a little something, you know what I mean? So definitely keep in touch. I love the community at VeVe. It was so great to see everybody that I was able to meet from the VeVe community in New York City last year. That was a lovely feeling. It was really great. And again, shout out to David Yu, creator of VeVe with the team, and Zoe and Anthony and Josh and Corey and everybody involved. It's just been so excited to get all these people to come together and make this digital community. And also I wanted to Randy, I thought maybe you could help me explain to the newcomers that it's not just downloading an image or a JPEG or something like that. There's a secret code, like a smart contract built in to the art. So instead of getting let's say an asset or a stock or something like that, you're getting a one-of-a-kind piece of art in this case. And then you could kind of trade that amongst, friends if you find someone else who's interested to trade it. And then you could also eventually put it on a third-party marketplace, and then maybe catch it out for USD if you go through that process of conversion or something. Can you explain that to the fans better? Because I'm more new to it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, how to tell someone new about it.
Yeah, sure. So there's a bunch of different ways to get the comic. You could obviously buy the physical one on your website. There is a way just to, some people are worried about the environment, NFTs, and even though VeVe digital collectibles are carbon neutral, some people just, it's like having to come out of the closet, oh man, I collect NFTs. If you don't want to do that, you can just buy the digital read only version. And I think that's what, $7, give or take?
Yeah. It's less. It's so the unlimited version of the comic on VeVe, they could just download and read. The limited edition collector's version is the one that's sold out, guys. And that was the one that you can trade on the third-party market or secondary marketplaces.
So that one that you can trade, you can get it on VeVe for gems. You just put in your credit card. That's pretty easy. But the other one, the Gakido comics, let's go the secret rare. I think you can get it for, I think you could have gotten it for $7 or $8 or whatever, give or take.
At the time, $8.99 at the time, yeah. But I've seen it trade for $200 to $300 for some people. I was shocked. I was like, wow.
Yeah, there's the difference between rarity and scarcity. Rare is how many of something is that was made, and scarcity is how much are available. So there's one actually that is pretty cheap. It's $73 for the secret rare, or just under 500,000 OMI. But then it jumps to $127, and then that's it. And then there's no more. So it's okay, where's the cheaper option? There is no option at all after that. On Stacker, at least. That's for the but if you and that's for crypto. And I know some people are a little bit oh, I don't really do crypto. Be advised, if you want to buy it and you don't know how to use crypto, learn, because it would cost you $450 on the app, which is a lot. I'm not saying it's not worth it.
Right.
But it's a lot. You could save so much more, hundreds of dollars, by buying it in crypto. Be advised, there's only 2 left.
Totally. It's very, very true and stuff. And thank you so much, by the way, for shouting out this present drop that we have of the artist proof. And I know some people were messaging me and was saying like, oh, well, what is an artist proof? It's kind of like an original, drawn on the Beyond Comics paper. I drew it all by hand and then finished off the inking on the tablet and the digital colors in Photoshop. So it's a hand-drawn stuff, a lot of original pencils and inks and stuff. So I'm creating like this whole limited edition collector's series of artist proofs, very, very limited run. So this is my second one, which is really exciting to drop after last month's. And again, I'm so grateful that, the comic sold out and that, the drop sold out last time. And now, again, thanks to all of you guys, for helping support us independent artists. It's really means a lot to me, especially like, not to bring anything down or whatever, but, I've been going through a lot of loss the last few months and a lot of like family health issues and suffering and things like that. And, it's been so hard, and to be able to connect with the VeVe community, and create content and bring smiles to you guys, just means everything to me. And I really hope to be creating for a long time and bringing more content to you guys and sharing in that wonderful connection, which is kind of what I'm really missing very badly right now, So it's a lovely feeling to be able to come together in a positive way. There's so many haters online and so much, cyberbullying and my God, young kids, offing themselves because of being, harassed or bullied or put down. Let's try to bring the world together. There's so much suffering everywhere. Let's try to like bring positivity wherever we can, to each other and support each other and, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's super important and stuff. And even now with like, my God, there's certain medical bills and family and stuff that, I can't even begin to, I don't want to depress anybody, but if this piece that I'm, auctioning off now on VeVe, it sells for a nice amount, the percentage I get off of that sale could really help with some of those bills, so I hope that it goes well. It's been a scary time.
Absolutely. So so I guess before I ask about some of the characters here, I do want to get your opinion on something. I
Sure.
sent David you a bunch of the I think like 65 pages of the DACAT comic as it is right now.
Oh, great.
And he asked if any of it was AI, and right now it's not, because there's really not a lot of demand for it yet because we haven't had our first one go. It's all hand drawn, which is nice, as looks like yours, all hand drawn. But you have probably gotten busier and busier as the years have gone on.
Yeah.
At some point, just for your time,
yes,
would you ever say like, hey, I'm going to use AI as a base to build whatever I want, and then I'll do the tweaks as myself as a human? Or will you say like, listen, it's a principle of the thing and I can't do it? Even though
it's a great question. I know like San Diego Comic-Con banned all AI artists and they're taking a big stand on it and stuff, and that's a public thing now. And I think that for me, I see it as it is a very frightening time because, people can just ask AI to generate something for them. I feel that we should all electively choose, if possible, to do something I'm trying to create called ethical AI use, which is where you as the artist or the writer, whatever it is, get an artist, or if you are the artist, be the artist who creates the master original. Make it yourself, sketch it with a pencil, take the extra time to put in the inks and the digital colors. Do what you can to make the master, the original, the source material. And then choose to use AI as a tool like Photoshop that could maybe move your creation, like through animation, for example, or maybe change the position or the pose. So I can understand as a time saver that being really, really helpful for individual artists who are doing the best they can to release their own work and they have limited budgets like we're all struggling with. So yeah. For us, it's great. But then when you have giant movie studios or big multi-million or billion-dollar corporations using AI, then you're taking away jobs from us, and that's painful. So that's why I say let's do ethical AI use. All my characters are visually and originally created by hand, by me, tons and tons and tons of sketches. And I'm lucky that I have the, you know, history from way back when I was 19 years old, drawing, you know, for Image Comics Spawn issue number 30, double page pinup spread for Todd McFarlane, you know, to have proof documented throughout the internet of my journey drawing by hand, so people know that I actually draw. But recently, and I had mentioned this, you know, on Informants channel recently, you know, shout out, hello, and to Raven 100, what's up, guys? You know, that, you know, I was just literally a few days ago, I met these nice people, and everybody seemed very cool. These two guys, they seemed very friendly. We're watching boxing in a bar, in a restaurant thing, bar, restaurant, lounge, and you know, they were like, "Oh, what do you do?" And we're getting along great. They're from the UK, just chilling out. And I told him how I draw, and he's like, "Oh, let me see your work." So they take my phone and they're scrolling through my phone, looking at my drawings. And then some of the work I did with celebrities, like, you know, the great, you know, master Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, star of Mortal Kombat, Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime, who we cast officially as Lord Shinryu in the comic book. I just want to give him a little honor moment there. You know, so, you know, things like that. So they see me with some of the celebrities, or Tom Cruise or Jim Carrey or Ice-T's wife, Coco from Law and Order with Ice-T. And they're like, "Oh, wow, can we take a selfie?" I said, "Sure." And, you know, they're having a couple of drinks. And then suddenly the guy, the younger guy, looks at me and he's like, "Hey, this is all AI, isn't it, on your phone? You don't draw. You never met these celebrities." I was like, "Oh, no." I was like, "Are you serious?" So I was like, "Listen, man, I give you my," he's like, listen. He's like, "Just admit it. Admit that it's a whole thing. Your whole life on your phone is AI, and I'll let you go." And I was like, "Listen, I'm giving you my word. Everything that you saw is real. In fact, you could Google the images and see the dates of me with the celebrities, or the art that I've done, or with Todd McFarlane, or things like that, or the video we shot, which happened before AI became huge, which was back in, like, you know, 2020. I guess it was like 2023 is when it really started to kick in, you know, AI. So you could see, you know, even before the pandemic and on, the history to prove that the stuff is legitimately real. And then the guy just did not care. He's like, "I know it's all AI, and he's gonna fight me. He's gonna physically start to fight." He gets his fists up, and he's like, "I'm gonna pound you now because I know you're lying." I said, "I swear I'm not lying," right? And, like, thank God the guy's father walked in and, like, pulled him away. You know, older guys, you know. And that's how I got out of that, thank God. But wow, it was like really scary that people are doubting reality now. They're doubting the only way that human beings used to share proof, which was through videos and photos. And now all of that's gone. So I can't imagine how the next generation is going to feel, because they can't trust whatever they see visually anymore. It's all going to just be assumed to be fake AI, or they don't know. And like history as we know it is going to kind of dissolve. So to answer your question, I would hope that people choose to use AI in an ethical manner, that they create the source material from scratch. And then if you want to implement AI to move the character or change the pose, okay, because at least you created the original character. It'd be better if you do it all yourself, but time is very limited. You know, these things take hours, you know, so if you could cut down, I mean, listen, I'll take sometimes up to, you know, like 12 to 16 hours to pencil a page. I'll take maybe 10 to 12 hours to ink a page. Then I'll take another 10 to 14 hours to color it, depending on the level of detail, you know. And, you know, on my book, I had Vince help with some of the colors and stuff, and he did like a lot of laying those foundation. Now I'll come and fix it up and spruce it up with effects and things like that. But the reality is that it's time consuming. And if you don't have a total of 36 hours per page to devote, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard. So I think if you implement or use AI, you know, that could be a very, you know, important tool if used ethically. So I have no problem using technology as a tool, but not to create for me. Not like, hey, I'm going to type, I want to see a superhero that looks like this, and then it makes its own thing, because that's an amalgamation of other artists' works that the computer is putting together to make a new work. Now, you know, my friend Brian, shout out to Brian, you know, he teaches literature and things like that. And, you know, one of the points that he made, which was rough, is he says, well, you know, AI is like our children, right? It's just doing the same thing that artists have done their whole life. Even the creators of Batman, you know, Bob Kane and Bill Finger, say that they were inspired by Zorro. So Zorro, technically, Batman is an amalgamation of Zorro, and like if as you go through history and you read, again, Spider-Man created by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and possibly Jack Kirby too, is now a rumor. There's this amalgamation of Spider-Man being the amalgamation of the Spider, or the 1956 Ben Cooper costume Spider-Man with no dash, with the webs, but it was yellow instead of red, if you guys check that out. So it could be coincidence, it could be an amalgamation. So humans have always been inspired by other humans to create new things throughout history, and that's kind of what AI is doing, and that was Brian's point as well. So that kind of puts a monkey wrench into everything and has to make you think twice. So it's a real problem. But I say do as much as you can traditionally. I know, like with your comic, you showed me some of the pencil sketches and poses that were, laid out. So I saw that myself, and then if AI can like utilize that to like make a finish, then it's a combination. I'm trying to list credits. So like in my comic book, it says hand drawn, and then if there's any AI usage, like in an advertisement or in a background, it'll say some ads or backgrounds have AI. Maybe we could put it like that. Maybe that's an idea, just to kind of be transparent as much as possible or whatever. It's really tough. I know, like I tried to use AI a little bit. I took my original artwork and drawings and tried to animate some of them or move some of them, but AI was mixing up the characters and blending them together. So I had to, by hand, go in frame by frame and redraw frames, fix frames, and do stuff when I was doing some test footage just to experiment with it. So it's not fully there, but it will be soon.
Yeah, there's for DACAT, there's like a couple of different arms. So there's the crypto token, and then there's DACAT Chronicles, which is mine. And then there's
your comic. For guys who don't know, DACAT is his comic coming soon.
Hell yeah. And there's a guy named DACAT Studios that has like his own version.
I tell you, he is awesome. He is so good.
Yeah, so he takes
Shout out.
He takes a lot of the stuff that's already done and he'll put that into prompts in like Sora or whatever. And Sora gives you like 10-second videos, but he'll take the hours to make those. Like, so there's a couple of trailers that he's done that are like over a minute long, and it looks really good.
Yeah, I love those.
So yeah, I think at some point when there's more demand for the product, like the artist that we have will have to use some type of AI to like create this, and then he'll do and make the type of adjustments that
exactly about. You don't have like a multi-million-dollar budget to work with, so for independent artists, AI is going to give us the first opportunity of our lives to be able to actually show our vision and make it look professional. That's very important. That's super important to do it. So it's rough because there's a lot of people that are so anti-AI. And I understand why. As an artist, I feel threatened by AI. I've personally witnessed AI write, kind of like its own code, its own scripts, its own artwork, and make artwork. And it's not as I'm envisioning it or anything, but it's close enough. And if someone doesn't know what your vision is, they would look at it and it looks professional. So it's a scary thing, even if it has like a bunch of fingers and it messes up the fingers or whatever, it blends people together. I was trying to have a fight scene and it just made them mush into each other, and then they became one person. I was like, wow, it's bonkers. You know what I mean? But again, if you go in and you make your first frame and you make your last frame every 5 seconds, you can animate in the middle and use AI to animate in the middle. I think that's an ethical use of it because it's your drawing that started it and your drawing that finishes it. And you have that in-between animation. So maybe that's the fair compromise. Again, there's a lot of traditional artists. Like I'm a traditional artist, right? And everyone was telling me, buy a computer, learn Photoshop. And I was so resistant to that for such a long time. But it is a time saver and it is great to be able to use it as a tool. So I just hope that people will not fight about it. Let's try to not argue about it. It is a very threatening thing. There's a lot of artists losing jobs, drawing books for people because they're just getting AI to bang out something or whatever. But understand there's a whole editing process. You still have to, even if you use AI, you still have to be a great editor. You still have to be able to know how to fix it in Photoshop. You still have to know how to produce stuff. You have to have the idea and the writing aspect of it or whatever, and understand coding. So there's still, you know, a very large amount of human touch to it. But again, I do not support AI replacing humans. I do not support robotics replacing humans. I do not support that at all. I do support using robotics and AI as a tool to help humans. That's the difference.
Hell yeah. To quote Dave Grohl, "Don't want to be your monkey wrench." There's this one trail. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day. I hurt my back shoveling snow. Obviously, in the East Coast, we got hammered with snow. Anyway, we
a lot here.
Yeah, it's insane. I was scrolling through TikTok and I see this trailer from Pixar, and it's about this. They have this theory that animals really talk to each other, they just don't talk to humans. So let's create an animal so that other animals can talk to it. We'll upload our consciousness into it. And it's like, okay, that's a cute idea. What are animals actually talking about?
That's cool.
They do it, and it's cool. And I go to the comments, and it after a second look, like, okay, yeah, this is made by AI. But the comments are just like, this is made by AI, like this is trash, like there's a boycott on it. It's wild that, yeah, like I think at some point, because of the backlash of people saying like this is all AI is not good, and people start to use what you call ethical AI to be like, okay, this is fine, because the artists are still being employed, no one's really getting fired, they're just making their lives easier and using it as a tool.
But I want people to be transparent whenever possible. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really important. Like I know, like I'll tell you a way that I've been using AI recently, and I'm very new to it. I don't know it that well, but I've been, you know, studying it and trying to understand it because as a tool. So something that I've done, for example, is I created a super villain for my Codename Justice character, and my villain that I have attacking him. Like I needed like burlap texture. So I asked AI, give me burlap texture, and it made a burlap texture. Now I could have gone on Google Images and gotten burlap, but at least it's an original burlap texture. And then I took that texture, and then in Photoshop, I'm cutting it out and I'm reshaping it. And then I'm, you know, drawing and painting digitally over it to create this texture that I'm looking for. So it's like I used AI to make a texture, and then I make the image. For example, battle armor. I needed armor. So I said, give me the sheen of a plastic piece of armor on, like, that's round. And then I took that and like cut it up in Photoshop, and I'm making like patches of armor and building it. And so I'm making the art. So I'm asking it to do something that normally people might go on Google and just grab an actual existing image. This is making its own kind of amalgamation of that texture. So I thought maybe that's okay. That seems ethically all right. I'm never asking AI to create a character for me, per se. You see what I'm saying? I'm creating the characters. So for example, I did sculptures with my team of my actual characters, and we fed that into AI, and I said, okay, make it walk, and then it makes it move. And that was really cool to see our original handcrafted sculpture made in real life, scan it, and then have AI make it move. That was awesome. That's like mind-blowing. And that's, again, another ethical way to use AI, because I didn't have AI make the master image. We made that actual sculpture. And that should also be applicable, whether it's a still drawing, a sculpted model or maquette, you know, a statue, or if you do it in 3D and you make your own. So in our animated trailer, are you able to pull up the animated trailer while we talk, or is the screen not shared?
For DACAT?
No, the one that I did for Gakito and for VeVe.
Where was the last place you sent it?
Wait, hold on. Should I text it to you? I can text it to you real quick.
Sure.
Okay, let me do that. I'll text it to you.
In the meantime, O'Milly's saying, Randy, please walk Greg through selling comics for OMI and cashing out.
Okay. Did you get the text?
I just got it. Okay. Oh, we're on the YouTube. All right.
Whoops.
Okay. Oh, this is like 3 minutes here. Okay. Let's.
You have to watch all of it, but the first 2 minutes. There you go. See? So that's my original drawing.
Yeah.
The screen is kind of freezing a little bit, so I don't know if people see it, but that's the original drawing that I did for the comic. And then I animated some elements, and then I used AI to do some in-between motion frames, like that spark. Again, that's the original drawing that I did. You see the characters fighting. I had to go in frame by frame and, you know, individually fix that. Again, I did the first frame and the last frame of this, including the background I did myself as well. In this background, that's the actual cityscape. That's my actual drawing of my characters. And then AI is kind of making them fight a little bit, but I had to go in and fix all of that. And then I did frame by frame animation with that as well. And then that's Ravidactyl and Tricity fighting right there. Now, this is 100% not AI. What you're seeing right here is my character, Codename Justice. And every single thing that you see in that is handmade in 3D Studio Max and Maya, literally 3D modeling the character. And then that switches to an AI background right there. And that's my actual drawing of the character. And then I frame by frame animated him on the bike. Same with him jumping onto the buildings here. That's my actual drawing that then we used AI just to kind of slightly move every few frames in between. So that's kind of how I was using it in an ethical manner. So if you guys type in Gekido cartoon trailer, it should pop up on YouTube. Gekido is Gekido right there. So again, that's using traditional, because I used to do animation traditionally as well. So doing actual traditional drawing, traditional animation, and then using AI to kind of do the what's called in-between frames. For those of you guys who don't know about animation, let's say the first picture is like this and the last picture is like that. I'll draw the first picture here, I'll draw the last picture here, and then I'll say, okay, AI, take this image and then do the in-between frames to make it connect to that image of the punch. And then AI blends that together. And that's kind of an ethical way to do it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Amelia's saying that
Hey, Amelia, what's up?
how to go in and sell stuff on Stacker is once you go to your Stacker account and connect VeVe to that, all you do is you just say you search. Let's say if you have a Gekido comic and you want to get some OMI. Let's say you went a little crazy on buying and you have 20 copies and you want to sell a couple of them. You go in and you search Gekido, you search which issue you want to sell, whether it's the common, uncommon, all the way up to the secret rare. And then you go in and you say sell for OMI. And then once you sell it for OMI, you list how much OMI you want. You click OK, accept the fees, and then it's listed. And then you wait for it to get bought.
And then how does somebody cash that out into USD?
Once it is in your wallet as USD, on Stacker, you hit swap, and then it'll swap for USDC. It'll swap for USDC. You'd have to send that to your Coinbase account, which most people, I think, have. If you don't, you could usually find someone to go and say, like, oh, hey, give me they could find someone that can just send them Venmo, Cash App, whatever, if you send the USDC to that person. But most people just go in and send it to Coinbase, and then you withdraw it to your account that way.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and then so that's how you would do it for anyone that's wondering. Anyway, I do have a couple minutes here left. What is one thing you wanted to go over before we end it here?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, I want to thank everybody. I've been getting so much comments about people asking me to make like collectibles for VeVe of our characters, which is so nice of them. And I would love to do that. So I will start looking into that a little bit more and trying to see if that's possible, and talk to VeVe and see what's needed to make that happen and stuff. I know that's something that is something I would love to do, especially because I have some characters already built in 3D. I have to find out their format. So that's, future stuff. It's in the future. So nothing official, but, I will definitely explore it, and I think that'll be fun. And I think for this artist proof, to be able to have this nice collectible artist proof series is really terrific. I've been working on it a really long time. So we'll keep you posted every time there's a new announcement. But right now, if you guys go to veve.me, veve.me, just search for collectibles and artist proof, and then you will see the character that we have over there for Gekido versus the Ninjas, with Cleo as again, Goddess of Seduction right there. You'll see the original, actual one-of-a-kind piece of art on the Bristol board paper from Beyond Comics Entertainment. So that's very exciting to be able to have that and put that together.
Hell yeah. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. And we will get you on the, as long as you're feeling okay, We want to get you for an hour on the 30th to get you to kind of promote the drop there, the 1 of 1.
Well, that'd be good.
Depending on how you're feeling, are you still good for Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Yeah. Does it close at 3 p.m.? Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay, so if depending on what's happening here, I'll be honest, I was really bad like this morning.
Yeah, you look a lot better now. Because from the video I saw the other day, you look like you I'm not gonna lie, you look not good. I was like, oh man, is he okay? But you look so much better now compared to that.
Thank you. Well, I've gotten a little bit of sleep and I've eaten, but I am feeling like that whole thing festering in my throat and nose and chest, and it's really going to depend on how much sleep and recovery I can get. Whether this gets worse or better, I don't know. It's rough. I'm doing everything in my power to hide how bad I feel. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm drank 10 cups of tea to loosen the throat for this. So I'm hoping I'll be okay. But if I am, I will jump in. But if not, please cover for me and shout out to everybody if you would, please.
Absolutely. We'll talk
and by the way,
a little bit.
Before we go, I just wanted to again thank you, VeVe community so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting us independent artists. I can't tell you how much it's meant to me. I just want to say that again for anybody who's just tuning in that didn't hear me earlier. I have a whole line of movies I'm working on. I finished many movie scripts. I did over 100 drafts of them and stuff. And right now we're looking for investors. So if anybody knows of anybody who wants to get equity in our company or invest in our movies, please reach out to me on social media and say hello. I'd love to connect with you guys. Make some nice content for you. I have a whole universe of new superhero characters with new superpowers and new stories and things that I hope really represent us, Randy, really, because my characters, they suffer from, feeling hopeless, purposelessness. How do you find purpose when you're suffering? How do you overcome injuries? How do you overcome mental health issues and depression? And that's what my characters focus on. So I hope that it inspires people to kind of keep going.
Cookie Monster says he will invest a few cookies.
I love cookies. Thank you, Cookie Monster.
All right, let's go in and talk off camera for just a couple minutes. I know you're sick. Everyone say bye-bye.